you guys, I'm Tabetha McNeal. This is The Next Up, an actor's journey to success. And today's special guest is Kendrix Brown. Woo woo! Yes. So, Kendrix, tell the people about yourself. What are you all about?
All right. What's going on, everybody? My name is Kendrix Brown. Originally from Alabama, but Virginia's pretty much home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an actor, been acting for just over 3 years now. Been in a couple of short films, a couple feature-length films, a couple plays. Also dabble in music and photography and other mediums of art, but acting is at the forefront for sure.
Right, yeah. So when did this kind of acting bug, bite you in the butt?
That would have been, I honestly didn't have much interest at all in art as a creator, like the first quarter of my life. It wasn't until after, like right around I was finishing up grad school, and I picked up a camera and really fell in love with it. And acting came about, and I was reading a book, and I'm not sure what the book was on, but it had a quote in there about acting. And it really struck me. I had to pull it up, and I'll read that. I think that'll give some insight.
Yeah.
So the book that it was, not the book that I was reading, but the book that the quote is from is called Acting, the First 6 Lessons, which is just about the craft. And it's talking about the gift or the skill of observation and how it pertains to the craft of acting.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that it helps a student of theater to notice everything unusual and out of the ordinary in everyday life. It builds his memory with all visible manifestations of the human spirit. It makes him sensitive to sincerity and to make-believe. It opens his eyes to the full extent and appreciation of different personalities and values in people and works of art. And lastly, it enriches his inner life by full and extensive consumption of everything in outward life. So when I saw that, it was at a time when the work that I was doing wasn't fulfilling me to the point where I really wanted to continue it as a life vocation, so to speak. So when I saw that, it really jumped out at me. And I always enjoyed watching actors talk about their craft, like those, I think it's called Actors on Acting, like that, where there's like a round table of actors and they're all talking about their experiences. And from the outside looking in, I didn't know much at all, but I was really intrigued, and I started taking classes at the Actors Place here in Norfolk and started auditioning, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. That is so cool. So what kind of films have you been a part of so far?
So started off doing a lot of student films, which I still do. And student films are great, for me, have been a great opportunity to work on the craft without as much pressure, to try things, to be around people, to be around young students who are in it for the love of the craft. So I've done a bunch of student films, different schools here in Virginia. I've done indie feature film, The Education of the Negro, that was shot out in Cali in 2018. And more recently, I had a small speaking role in Harriet, and a film that's getting ready to come out that was actually shot here in Norfolk, starring Shay Wingham and Olivia Munn and a great other cast of people. But that film's called The Gateway. And unfortunately, the pandemic has sort of delayed the release of that one, but it should be coming soon.
That's so cool, Kendrick. You're amazing. So my next question is, what is your process like before and after an audition?
Good question. Before before an audition. I mean, getting the script in my hand and trying to, it really depends on how much time I have.
Right.
If I have as much time, if I have, say, maybe the most time I've had is maybe a week. If I can get a weekend, then I can really live with the words on the page, because I mean, there's so much, and I'm learning more and more. There's so much. I mean, the words on the page are essentially the Bible of whatever you're doing. Like, everything that you need is going to be in there. So trying to pour over those words and try to make them a part of me, essentially, and trying to understand the voice of the writer. And then from there, for me, it's really about understanding the character. Empathy is a really big thing for me in my personal life, and it directly translates to acting when it comes to trying to understand the character that you're playing, even if that character has qualities that you don't necessarily like, qualities that you don't necessarily think are in you. I mean, I'm of the mindset that everything is in all of us, essentially. We have the capability to, that quote that I read talking about every spectrum of the human spirit, I think it's in all of us. So once I can get to that point of understanding the character on that level, I feel like I'm good to go. And all that, and then once you get in the room, acting is funny in the sense that there's so much preparation leading up to it. But then once you're in the room, or once you're on the stage, and once you're on set, there's kind of a forgetting of that. Not completely throwing it away, but what's really important at the moment is to engage with whoever whether it be a reader, or actually on set. Obviously in an audition, maybe the reader isn't giving you a lot. So it's on you to, for me at least, I'll take it as, okay, then I'll act for you. Mm-hmm. I'll fill in those lines. And then the process afterwards, it's easy. It sounds simple, but it can be hard, because that process is really just letting go. Yeah. Because at that point, it's out of my hands. And I try to leave that room, leave everything I have in that room, and then from there, if it comes back and I get the role, then great. If not, it was a great opportunity for me to practice the craft and get better.
Wow, dropping all the gems today, Kendrick. That's so cool. So, as a Black man in the industry, what are some things that you want to see changed?
Well, I'll say that I've been, I mean, because you hear a lot of stories about things that aren't so great and things that we all love to see change. I've been fortunate to be around a lot of great people. And I haven't had a ton of experience with the big machine that is Hollywood, because that's where the real issues start to come into play. But as someone who is aspiring to get to that level, and as a consumer, someone who's watching all this stuff, I think I would love to see more people of color in positions of power, in positions of telling the story, mm-hmm. as opposed to just being a pawn on the board, being in positions of controlling the whole board. Because not that it's not happening, because we're seeing it, but we need more, because when it does happen, stories that haven't been told before are told in such a way that I think really communicates. I think at the end of the day, what it does is communicates how much more similar we are than we are different. Yeah. But when those stories are told from authentic voices, that really shines through. So more of that, more Issa Rae, more Donald Glover on Atlanta, more of that.
We're rooting for everyone Black, okay? We're here for it. So what made you venture out and make your own music? I mean, that is, you know, as actors, we have to wear so many hats. So what made music be one of your hats?
Well, I mean, like I said, I never had interest as a creator of art, but I mean, obviously we're all consuming it constantly.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've always loved music. And it was during the time when I first started acting, one of the things that I've always heard and advice that I've gotten were to have other outlets.
Yeah.
Because as an actor, especially starting out, there could be long droughts of time before you get a chance to actually act. So having another creative outlet was really important to me. And it began as just sort of curiosity, just trying to produce my own beats. And then eventually and at first that's all I was doing. I was just making music just as something, just as a creative outlet. But eventually I started writing too, which was something that was very therapeutic for me. And I don't know, eventually it's just a point of just doing it.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's cool. So what has been the most important thing you've learned about yourself as an actor during quarantine?
The most important thing. That's a good question. I would say my desire to do a lot of different things. I was taking an online class that ended a couple weeks ago, which at first, you know, you think about the craft of acting, something that's done person to person, and I know I honestly was thinking, how much are we going to get done? How much am I going to grow as an actor in an online platform? But I actually did tremendously. We did a bunch of different things that I haven't done before. Like the class was on audition techniques, so we're working on different types of auditions, from everything from drama to comedy to like a kids like Disney show and Nickelodeon show, and I had a ton of fun doing those things.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that I've learned is how open the field is in terms of different things that I would love to do.
Cool. Wow. It's so crazy. You know, everything has turned, you know, purely on Zoom right now.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're like, I can't have this kind of physical connection. I can't touch. I can't look into, you know, their eyes. And now we have to do all of that through online. So it can be, I guess, difficult sometimes, but it seems like it's actually working like really, really well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think in terms of that connection with someone, I mean, that can transcend just being in the same physical space. So as long as that, like you said, as long as that connection is there,
yeah,
it could definitely work.
So if you could cast a movie, which
okay,
five? Yeah, you're a casting director now. You sit in the big chair. So which 5 actors, dead or alive, would you cast in your movie?
Oh my goodness, that's a great question. That's fun. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be a great movie. All right. I'm gonna start with Sidney Poitier.
Yes.
Sidney Poitier was one of the first actors that I started watching when I began this journey. And his command of the screen, that quiet confidence, is just magnetic. So we're gonna throw him in there. Of course, we're gonna put Denzel in there. I mean,
yeah,
who's not gonna put Denzel in there? Then we'll throw Viola Davis in there. That dynamic that they've had. So maybe in this movie, maybe they're a couple again, and Sidney Poitier is one of their fathers or something. All right, then we'll go younger. and I'll throw in Lakeith Stanfield, who
Mm.
I really enjoy. And then one more. You know, I don't know her name. Did you get a chance to watch The Old Guard?
Yes.
Or If
Yes.
Bill Could Talk?
Yeah, Kiki Lane.
Kiki Lane, yes. Which is
Mm-hmm.
that name belongs in lights. Yeah, we're gonna throw her in there, and we're gonna kill on Oscar night.
That is so, that is so cool. So if you had a name for this movie, what would it be?
Oh, wow. What would the name be? Um, ah, um, American Dream, maybe.
Cool. Okay, trademark.
Maybe. Say what?
Trademark that.
Yeah. There's some story about the Black experience in America.
Yeah. You heard it here first, guys. If Kendra makes this, he said it on here first. Yeah.
Don't steal my idea.
Don't steal the idea.
I got a witness.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah. So my next question would be, what kind of roles are you wanting to play as an actor? Like, what are your roles where you're like, man, that's it. I want to do that.
So many different ones. I think, well, my favorite genre is drama.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the roles that comes to mind immediately is Sterling K. Brown on This Is Us.
Yeah.
I love his vulnerability that he brings to that role. Something like that. I mean, I would love to do. I mean, who wouldn't love to be in a dope action film or a superhero film? But one of the things that I really want to do, and I would love to, if this could be my next project, that would be awesome, would be some type of comedy. I tend to lean towards liking dark comedy or realism comedy. And so if I can get something in that lane, that'd be great.
Cool. So we're going to talk about the amazing force you were in Voodoo MacBeth. Scary, y'all. We were frightened. We were frightened. So how was that audition process for you, and how did you kind of take on your character?
The funny thing is, I didn't audition for that character.
Come on.
That audition process.
It came to you.
Yeah, it was placed in my lap. I ended up just auditioning for a bunch of different roles. But when of course, I ended up doing a double role, playing Harriet as well as Lord MacBeth. The genders were switched on that one. But Harriet was such an interesting character. It was a lot of fun for me. That whole experience was so fun. But that character in particular, someone who was a big part of the play and was on stage a lot, but didn't speak a lot.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely a challenge for me to try to command the stage without saying a word. But it was a ton of fun. One of the things that I ended up doing, which I hadn't done before on any other project, was staying in character when I was off stage.
Oh yeah, let me tell y'all something about Kendrix, okay? We would be, and that's why it scared me. It scared the mess out of me, because we'll all just be talking, and all you see is Kendrick in the corner with his head down. He had, his little brim cap on. He's just like, woo, woo, woo. And I'm like, what is he doing?
So to give them a little bit of context, the character was like a voodoo witch doctor. It was like the leader of the voodoo gang.
Yeah.
Who had a staff and this straw hat. Yeah, so backstage, and I, I definitely had a little fun scaring some people because I could
Oh, yeah.
feel how uncomfortable it would sometimes make you. But I think that worked. I
Oh,
think
no,
that
it
just
worked.
made everything work 10 times better when we were
Mm-hmm.
out there.
Because it was always a
Yeah.
different corner. It was just never the same corner. It was just different. And then we'll come in, like, mind you, where everyone's in the dressing room, you know, we're just chatting it up. And then all you see is Kendrick in the corner in the darkness with his head down. Like, and I don't even want to say hi. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to wait until we get in this dressing room to say something to him. Just forget it. He's in the zone. That is so cool. So, what was it like being a part of Harriet?
It was amazing. So when I got that call to audition, even that alone, I mean, because you know, as an actor, you're gonna audition, you're gonna get a lot more no's than you do yeses. Mm-hmm. So just getting the audition alone in the beginning, I was extremely excited. I ended up auditioning a couple times for a couple different roles. Ended up getting the role of a newly freed slave. It was shot up in the piece that I did was shot in Petersburg. I'm pretty sure they did some filming in Williamsburg, like the stuff they did in the woods. But the stuff they did in town was like downtown Petersburg, and that was my first time being on a set so big. So to be able to see that big machine and see how many different pieces go into making something was really amazing. I was only on set for 2 days. Actually, the first day I was on set, I was in my trailer the whole time.
Wait a second.
Because as you
the trailer, you made it, Kendrick. You made it.
The trailer was small, but it was no less. It was a trailer.
It was a trailer, yeah.
No, but and one of the things that you learn quickly when you're on a film set is that waiting is a big part of acting on a film. And so the first day they actually didn't even get to me. I was just in my trailer the whole time. I had one line in the film. I was in my trailer for a couple hours, just obsessing over that one line. I ended up going home, which I got paid for that day, so I was like, "Hey, that's fine. Let's string this along as we can." Yeah. But they brought me back the next day. Got a chance to meet some of the cast. It was amazing. And actually being on set, our director, Ms. Casey Lemon, she was so. Again, I was only there for a day and actually on set filming my piece for maybe an hour, but she was so welcoming. It felt like I was coming in. It felt like I was going to a family member's house. And it was definitely a humbling experience as well as a very inspirational experience for me.
Yeah, speaking to that with doing Voodoo MacBeth and then doing Harriet and other short films and theater, how important is it to you that you have more people of color in, you know, being as casting directors, the directors, the DP, you know, just everything? How important is that to you right
now? It's very important. I mean, I spoke on before about how important it is to have people of color in positions of power, especially if we're telling a story that at its core is a Black story. I think the more people that you can get that can directly relate to those experiences, I just think the more beautiful the end product will be.
Awesome. Yeah. So my next question would be, what would you do if you couldn't act?
What would I do? You know, I honestly don't know. Yeah. I know that's one of the things that someone said to me when I first started, because oddly enough, when you first get into a craft or any sort of vocation that's very tough, that really only a few people succeed, you will find that people who are in that game will try to manage your expectations, and bring you down to a certain level of realizing the battle that you may be up against.
Yeah.
But something that somebody said to me was, or said that they acted because they wouldn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, I kind of understand that, because it is something that brings me to life, unlike anything else. But with that being said, I honestly feel like acting was a gift that was given to me, an opportunity, a gift that was given to me. And I have faith that if it was taken away, if I wasn't able to do it, at the end of the day, my life would still be, I would still be able to find fulfillment.
Yeah. It's not Sunday, y'all. It's Saturday.
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, you know, there's like a quote that's saying, you know, if you have another option, do the second one. You know, and I think especially for actors, we're like, there's nothing else we can do. You know, that's it.
Yeah,
if this don't work out, cool, I'm making my own. Like, that's the second option for us. You don't want to cast me? I'll cast it myself. So it is so cool. So for me, I think my last question for you would be, where do you see yourself as an actor in 5 years?
I see myself still growing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so many things attracted me to acting. I love acting for so many reasons. That's when people ask me why I do it. It's sometimes a hard question for me to answer.
Yeah.
But one of the beautiful things about it is it can be a lifelong vocation. I was listening to an interview with Ron Cephas Jones from, he's also on This Is Us, plays the father. And I'm not sure how old he is, 60s maybe, but he was saying how he feels like he's in his prime. And so in 5 years, I see myself still learning, still growing. In a more tangible sense, I would love to be at that point a leading man in film. I would love to be a part of a great ensemble, whether it be in television or film or on stage. So in 5 years, I see myself 5 years a better actor, and many more years to go, hopefully.
That's awesome. You know what? I thought that was my last question. I lied.
You can go all day.
What are your 2 favorite actors and why? Yeah, who are your favorite 2 actors that you're, I guess, let's say, like, what are your 2 favorite actors right now who inspire you?
Okay. I'll go back to, I mentioned Lakeith Stanfield when I was in the casting chair. And one of the things I love about his work is that there seems to be this this level of freeness and reckless abandon, while also maintaining a deep level of sincerity. And that's something I always aspire to do. So he's definitely someone who inspires me. Someone else. Michael B. Jordan really inspires me. And really more so because of the way I hear him talk in interviews and such, the way he talks about how hard he works. Like I remember him talking about auditioning and how, I mean, at a certain level, I mean, we all would love to get to the place where we don't have to audition, where
they come to us.
We are auditioning them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And someone like him is definitely at that level. But he spoke about not being afraid to audition. He referred it to not being afraid to hunt for his food.
Yeah.
So that level of hunger and commitment is really inspiring.
Yeah, it's so cool. My last guest, Devere Rogers, actually said, like, when he goes into audition, he has fun. Like, he's like, auditioning is kind of, I feel like I'm going to say it wrong, but he's like, auditioning is like the cake. And, getting the role is like the cherry on top. Like, I'm still playing. I'm still, growing from it. So I think that is so cool. So, wow, this was so amazing. You are such a light in Virginia, Kendrix. I know that someday, like, we're going to see your names in lights. We're going to be there when you get your Emmy for Best Actor in a Film, and it's going to be so awesome.
Thank you.
As I tell all my friends, I'm going to be in the chair, but I'm going to have food. Because I feel like the food there is going to be amazing.
Hey.
I will cry, though. There will be tears, but it's going to be...
Well, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. As I told you before, I really feel honored to be a guest on the show. I've been watching. It's been inspiring to see how much talent is around here.
Yeah.
And like I told you, I can't wait to see. It's already amazing. I can't wait to see how far you go with it. You're doing an amazing thing for this local community, for our art community, and thank you.
Oh. All right, y'all. Later. Thank you.
Get all the flowers today.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You guys, I am Tabetha McNeal. This is The Next Up. And again, thank you for coming with our special guest, Kendrix Brown. Check out his music. Check out his artistry. I mean, this man is going far. Okay? Far. Check out his Instagram. Everything about him will be in the description down below. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.